Hey guys, hope you're well. Another turbulent week in the yield max universe. All these funds getting, I didn't think it could get much lower, and then it just keeps dropping and dipping and dipping. These tariffs having obviously a big impact on the whole stock market, not just the Bitcoin orientated ETFs, not just yield max, but on pretty much everything. It doesn't look great. But today we're going to talk about MSTY. What does the forecast and projection look like for MSTY? Is it going to make you wealthy? Is it a good buy right now? But before we do that, I am going to just run you through my distributions that I'm receiving or have already received for March. So I've already had Group C, so Coney, that was a bit disappointing at 59 cents, as you can see here. ULTY 46, everything's down because all the share prices are down, all the distributions are down. Even if we shift over here to our actual net return, our distribution percentage, it's way down from what it was, say, a couple of months ago. 70%, it was 90% for MSTY, 85% for Coney, and now it's at like 51 net and 44 respectively, MSTY and Coney. So everything is down. It's a bit of a tough time, but are things going to get better? MSTY, it came in last night for me here in Australia, $1.37. I was a little bit disappointed with that. I thought it was going to be around the $1.60 mark. So, it's not bad, but I just was hoping for a little bit better. I don't know what everyone else thought, but I just thought it hit that kind of 160, 170 mark. And obviously, and I think that's the lowest distribution for MSTY yet. It still does well for me. I'm heavy on MSTY, so 3,671 shares. So that's a US total of just over $5,000 gross. I get taxed 15%. That's just over $4,000 USD. And then in Australian dollars, which is where I live, that is almost $7,000. So it's still a good week for me. I can't complain too much. And what I generally do is I live off half roughly, or not fully, but I take out half and then I reinvest half into whatever's doing well. Generally MSTY, I've put a bit more into NVIDIA at the moment because NVIDIA is really down at the moment. I think it's at about $16 a share, which is a low price for NVIDIA. So yeah, I've reinvested a bit into that. Tesla, I'm staying away from at the moment. Just the Elon Musk thing. I don't know. There's some stuff going on there, so I'm just avoiding Tesla at the moment. But still very bullish on MSTY and Coney, and so that's why I wanted to talk about MSTY today. So, what is going on with MSTY? Right, so it's at a low, isn't it? It's not doing well. It's hit around the $19, $20 mark. And somebody said to me the other day, "Oh, MSTY will never get back up to $40, $35." And I actually disagree. I think it will. I'm fairly bullish on crypto, on Bitcoin this year. I think that liquidity is going to come back into the market, which is essentially what the Bitcoin price marries itself against. All these tariffs and Trump announcements, they do have a short-term impact, but essentially the fundamentals of the Bitcoin price is kind of partnered with liquidity and what's going on with debasement of currency and all that kind of stuff. So when someone said, yeah, it's never going to hit $40 again, I was like, well, how long did it take the first time? Because obviously MSTY has dipped and regained before. If we zoom out here, this is, let's just put it onto a year. All right, so here we go, we're at a year. So in, what's this, September 6th, it was down at about $19, $19.20, something like that. And then so that's September, and then on November, so 2.5 months later, it reached a high of $44. So it more than doubled, more than 100% increase in price in 2.5 months. So my personal belief is that it's one of the yield max funds that can get to all new time highs again. It can hit 35, it can hit $40 again, in my opinion. And I actually think it will this year. It's not only September, October, November last year where it did it. I think it did it even quicker when it first launched. When MSTY first launched, let's go over here, it was priced at $20. I think it launched at $20 share price. And then, so what's that? That's February. And then by the 11th of March, it was at $40. What's that? That's less than a month. 20th of Feb to the 11th of March. So in about 3 weeks, it more than doubled its share price. So is it possible? Yes. Will it happen? That depends on your fundamental beliefs and what research you've done. In my opinion, it will happen. I believe we're still in a Bitcoin bull run. And I think that at the end of this year, Bitcoin will be minimum $150,000. So I think there is a large probability that it will be back around the $35, $40 mark. Let's just look at some of the fundamentals of what's happening. Now, what's happening? So, liquidity. China, Trump is trying to lower the value of the dollar. The dollar's too high. Trump's trying to devalue it, make it cheaper. And so what does that mean? China's now in a position to print money again, which it's already started doing. So China is now printing money. It is printing billions of dollars. So what does that mean? That means that liquidity is going to come back into the market. So liquidity is a thing that really reflects the Bitcoin price. And I think Raoul Pal, if anyone looks into his or reads some of his papers or research, watches his videos on YouTube, you'll see that he basically always reflects the Bitcoin price with liquidity in the market. And so this is, I think, a chart that actually came from him, where you can see liquidity and the price of Bitcoin and how it's marked. And basically what Bitcoin does is that it has about a 2 week to 10 week lag on liquidity. So liquidity went down and Bitcoin started to go down, right, a bit later, a few weeks later, and then liquidity recently has been going up. So what's going to happen in the next few weeks? I think people are saying last week of March, start of April, the liquidity is going to start having an impact on the Bitcoin price. The Bitcoin price will start rallying and it will start seeing the bull run take off again. So in my opinion, what's Bitcoin at? It's at about $85,000 at the moment. This is a perfect time to get in. I really think if I had any money left, I would be getting in on Bitcoin as a growth stock, as a growth asset, and I'd be getting in on MSTY hard. I'd be putting a lot of money into MSTY at the moment. But what's MSTY on at the moment? It's at 20 bucks, right? Anything under $24, $25 for MSTY, I think is a great buy. But since the last couple of weeks, it's been that 19, 20 mark. I just think if people are getting into yield max ETFs now, I'll be putting a lot of money into MSTY. I think it's going to hit that $35, $40 mark. Maybe not this first half of the year, maybe at the end of the year, but it will definitely get there. Look at this. This is a comparison of some of the yield max ETFs, some of the top ones. So even with a big downturn, like MSTY's gone from being what $40 it was back here in November time to being around 20 bucks now, and it's still over the course of a year, this is a year's time frame, going to give you an overall total return of 64%. That's even within that huge downturn that we've experienced in the last few months because of how well it's performed and the great distributions that it gives you as a high yielding ETF, because of its volatility, because of its price action towards Bitcoin. So, you look at it compared to the other stocks, obviously everything's been tanking since middle of December. They've really come down. What's this? This is NVIDIA. So NVIDIA has obviously taken a bit of a beating recently, and that's come down. But MSTY is by far still the best total return ETF from YieldMax. So again, if I was in a position, if I had any money left, I'd be putting a lot of money into MSTY right now. I really believe that by the end of the year, the share price is going to go back up. It will hit that $30, $35, maybe even $40 mark by the end of the year. As long as Bitcoin hits that 150 grand, $150,000 mark, which I believe it will, then I think this is going to shoot up and your total returns on MSTY will be very good. So can you make a lot of money from it? In my opinion, yes, you can. Is now a good time to buy? I think it's an incredible time to buy. Buying MSTY at $20 a share is incredible. And I just think you see this top at $40, $42. This, when liquidity comes in and we're over here, it's just going to shoot up. I could be wrong. This isn't financial advice. It's not guaranteed to happen. People are saying that we've already hit a bear market. We're in, we're going to go, the price is going to stay stagnant and then maybe go down. But I don't believe that. I think until the end of this year, maybe Jan, Feb of 2026, it's going to be pretty successful with everything that's going on with Bitcoin, with crypto reserve, with institutional investment. There's so much bullish narrative going on at the moment with Bitcoin, and that is going to put MicroStrategy in an incredible place in the next year until we hit the next bear market. So there we are. There we have it. Hopefully, our distributions improve next month because they've been pretty bad this month. I can't complain. I'm still doing all right. 11,000 net Australian for me already from the first 2 weeks. I do have my biggest positions in Group C and Group D with MSTY and Coney, and I don't have as big positions in Group A and Group B, sorry. So that's, Tesla, NVIDIA. Yeah, I don't have nearly as many shares, so it'll be much smaller for me for the rest of the month. But anyway, good luck, everyone. I hope we have a much better month coming up. I feel that we kind of hit a bottom, but I don't want to speak too early. So hopefully things start to improve and, we can start making some decent money again, or at least gain, we're also in the red at the moment. I think I'm down like 20% on MSTY and almost 30% on Coney in terms of my average cost base. My average share price that I'm in at $27 at MSTY, and it's now $20, $13 at Coney, and it's now what, $8.5, $9. So let's just hope things improve. All right, cheers, guys.